Christmas came early for the Spartans as the Norfolk State University football team has named its next head coach, and it is the one, the only, big number 7, Michael Vick. Michael Vick is taking over for the program. This is a guy who is a Virginia native. He is a Virginia Tech University legend. He is a former National Football League star, most notably known for his time with my Philadelphia Eagles. We are keeping him, not the Atlanta Falcons, but we have a special edition of HBCU football Friday night with Symona Stanley, myself, and Wilton Jackson. Wilton, you have been on the trail of this news for some weeks now. What was your initial reaction when the news became final that Michael Vick was the next man in charge for the Spartans?
Symona, when I heard that he was finally hired, I was just glad that the deal was done. I mean, you're talking about this was some information, the rumblings of Michael Vick coming to Norfolk State. You started hearing them back in like late September, early October. But, Norfolk State finally gets his guy. They finally bring in a new coach. And obviously, you get a public figure as someone like, with notoriety like Michael Vick who comes in and, people are, for the most part, are excited about him coming in and getting a chance to become a head coach of this program. And so you get a guy, Michael Vick, and you just kind of alluded to it, played in the NFL, was a star athlete at Virginia Tech. He knows that particular area. He's from Newport News, Virginia, maybe about 40 minutes away from Norfolk, where Norfolk State is. So I think he's going to have a good chance to really, really recruit and get players out of that area, specifically in that Virginia area, but then also the other stops that he made in his career. I think that that's going to be very beneficial in the type of players he's able to bring in, and then also, more than anything, it's going to be very important who he decides to put on his coaching staff.
You mentioned the coaching staff, which I know a lot of people are excited about. Have you heard any rumblings of anybody that could possibly join Coach Vick's staff?
Yeah, I know. I saw in the article that was written by the Virginian pilot that one of his cousins, former Virginia Tech lineman, could be helping out with the staff. That's what he alluded to on his Twitter post. So that would be someone to look out. Also, one of the coaches at a school in the Virginia area, also according to that article by the Virginian pilot, could be helping out with the program as well. But I would definitely expect him to get some people who have college coach experience, even some that may have some NFL experience. And one thing about Michael Vick, it's good that he's had multiple stops throughout his career, specifically in the NFL. You're talking about, I know you hate this, Symona, but he spent a great amount of time with the Atlanta Falcons. I'm going to just be real. Like, as a kid, I'm playing Madden 02, 03, 04. I'm playing with Michael Vick, just keeping it real. And this is coming from a Saints fan, but I digress. He has experience in Atlanta. He has experience with Philly. He has experience with the Jets and the Steelers. So it's just like there's really not an area where he won't be able to recruit. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to get all the best players, of course, but I can guarantee you he's going to get some top-notch players just off the strength of his name being Michael Vick. And then, number two, just the idea of, here it is, a coach that's coming into an opportunity. And we got to keep it real, Symona. There are kids these days that are hopping in the portal, NIL, all things of that nature, and they're looking for their next opportunity. Not only are they looking for their next opportunity, they're looking for opportunities to play for a high-profile coach that could potentially help them excel and elevate their dreams of playing professional football one day. So why not, with Michael Vick, with the player that he was in the NFL?
You are correct. The recruiting is going to be so, hyped up for Michael Vick because, like you said, not only his ties to Virginia, but he has so many ties to these other cities, so many ties to these other states because of all the places that he did play professionally in the NFL, even though I'm going to say, I feel like his time in Philadelphia was like the most lit time of his career. We'll let y'all debate that in the comments. Wilton is taking Michael Vick Atlanta version. I'm taking Philadelphia Michael Vick, but we'll see what y'all think in the comments. But this is a guy who we know what he can do on the football field. You know what I'm saying? It's undeniable. We know what he can do back there in the pocket. Coaching is a whole different animal, and we've seen a lot of coaches, specifically in the HBCU space, excel taking over football programs without having prior head coaching experience, and Michael Vick is going to be the next one up when it comes to that circumstance. He did have some internship experience with the Kansas City Chiefs, but outside of that, he has not coached a football program before. So when you look at that, what are your expectations for him coming in his first year?
Well, Symona, I mean, his expectations, you could honestly say they're very similar to what we thought about what Deion Sanders was going to do initially when he first came to Jackson State. I can assure you being that Deion Sanders was the athlete that he was, there were a strong faction of people that thought, well, he doesn't have coaching experience. Is he going to be able to excel at the collegiate level? And let me correct myself. He didn't have college coaching experience. He had high school coaching experience. So with that, it's just like, here it is. Here's another clean slate for Michael Vick. And I think that it's really going to be dependent upon who he hires on his coaching staff to really determine how much success that he has. Because one thing that I can truly say, as a person who had, close-up interactions with watching Deion Sanders coach Prime at Jackson State, his coaching staff was great. Like, there were times that, of course, he missed due to, health issues and things of that nature. But those coaches, the people that he brought onto his staff, were very, very, very beneficial to the success that Jackson State had, in addition to having a Coach Prime as your head coach. So if you're Michael Vick, yes, you don't necessarily have the proper college coaching experience, but I can guarantee you, if he has the right people in his ear, the right people in his ear, which I think that he will, I think that he's going to hire the right people for his coaching staff, and they're going to make sure they get the right players into the program so that Norfolk State can really start to turn a page on getting that resurgence going for the Spartans.
Yes, so Deion Sanders did have coaching experience on the high school level. Michael Vick doesn't have any coaching experience. The same was true for Coach Eddie George when he started at Tennessee State University. He did not have any coaching experience. This year, he led Tennessee State University to their best record in program history, just after only being with the team since 2021. Same for Coach Eddie Robinson Jr. at Alabama State. He did not have any coaching experience before taking over Alabama State University, and he has had a lot of success there. His team finished with a winning record in each of its season. So we know it can be done. And if anybody gonna do it, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna always believe in number 7. My question is, Norfolk State University fans, what do you think they're feeling right now? You said that this rumor was in the air since September. What do you think they're feeling right now in Norfolk State? Because this is a program that has not won the MEAC ever. They kind of won it in 2021, but then that title got snatched because of some violations.
Right. Symona, if I'm a Norfolk State fan, I'm thinking that I'm excited because for the most part, from what I've gathered and seen on social media and just talking to some different people that's close to the program, they wanted Michael Vick to lead this program. And if you're a fan, you have to think that, okay, yes, we have a former NFL player as a coach. Some people, depending on who you're talking to, they may not like that because they feel that there are some other people or other coaches with experience that should have taken this job. That's one side of the coin. But the other side, from what I'm hearing from most people, is that they're excited about the time that Michael Vick is coming to Norfolk State and what he's going to be able to do and what type of exposure that he's going to be able to bring to the program. And you just kind of alluded to it. This is a program that hasn't been that well in football in recent years. And granted, you have a MEAC that's also changed over the years, right? Like you're looking at, a MEAC that used to have like North Carolina A&T and Hampton and all these other teams. But now the MEAC that we know today, currently, South Carolina State, North Carolina Central, Morgan State, Howard, Delaware State. To be honest, Simone, with the coaches that still exist in the MEAC right now, with Chennis Berry at South Carolina State, Trey Oliver at North Carolina Central, I would never go on a map or go out on a limb to say that, Michael Vick being the head coach at Norfolk State puts them as the front runner in the MEAC. That would be terrible for me to say. But I will say this, with him being head coach and depending on his coaching staff and the type of players that he brings in, I definitely think it makes things interesting going into 2025. One thing we do know is, and I just think about when a coach like Deion Sanders came to Jackson State in that first season, they weren't perfect. Like, it still takes time, regardless of who you are as a coach, the type of players that you bring in, it still takes time for things to gel. So if I'm Norfolk State fans, I'm not expecting to be perfect right away. But by that second full season, maybe midway through that second full season, I'm not saying it can't happen in the first season, but by that second full season, I feel like, again, depending on the coaches that he has and the players he's able to bring in, Norfolk State could be on that rise really soon.
We have seen some one-season turnarounds. Now, granted, South Carolina State, they bring in a new coach, they turn it around. However, Coach Chennis Berry brought a Benedict championship team over. Same is true for Coach Keaton. When he came to Clark Atlanta, he was able to bring a very successful Allen team in the portal over to Clark Atlanta. Michael Vick does not have a pre-existing team that he can bring to Norfolk State University. So it's a different scenario than Coach Barry being able to quickly turn around South Carolina State and Coach Keaton being able to quickly turn around Clark Atlanta because they had a foundation from the team that they were coaching prior. However, I am going to say this, Wilton. You know, I might go out on a little limb. Now, obviously, I'm extremely biased, okay? Because at this point, I might as well be a Norfolk State University fan, okay? You know what I'm saying? So I am biased. Also, I do love the fact that Coach Vick is staying in green.
He is.
Okay, you know, because once you bleed green, that don't ever stop, Wilton, okay? That don't stop. Notice he's not coaching a team in red. Notice that.
No, he's not. He's
not. But I am going to go out on a limb. I think this takeover could happen quickly because the recruit, I bet if I opened up Twitter right now, I'm going to see at Coach Vick, check out the tape. I'm in the portal. Hashtag Coach Vick at Norfolk State football. Check me out. I feel like that recruiting that he's going to be able to do just in this first season, I don't know, Wilton. If I'm those other teams in the MEAC, I might be shaking in my boots a little bit.
So I'm not going to say that he's not going to be able to recruit because I firmly believe he's going to be able to recruit. No, I didn't
say you didn't say that. You were saying that you're going to bet on 2 years for the takeover. I'm saying I'm putting all chips in on 1 year takeover.
So when I say 2 years, I mean in like 2 years they're winning a potential MEAC championship and competing for a celebration bowl.
I'm putting them in the championship right now.
Oh, you are bold. You are extremely bold today. I'm not saying that it can't happen. I will not say that it can't happen. But today, on December 18th, I would say that I would give them at least 2 years to be competing for a MEAC championship, and well, they don't have a championship, but winning the MEAC and competing for a celebration bowl by year 2.
I'm booking
because here's the thing: the reason I say that is because you can't sleep on the fact that they're still South Carolina State, they're still Berry. They had a phenomenal season. Granted, last year's results doesn't affect 2025 results, but I cannot imagine South Carolina State not continuing to build under Berry's leadership. Then we're talking about a Trey Oliver-led North Carolina Central team that was only a few points away should they have been able to beat South Carolina State. That could have been playing in the Celebration Bowl, right? So we know North Carolina Central is not going away. I don't know if you've been paying attention, but Howard's recruiting trail has been a little hot, so they're not going away either. And you forgot about Damon Wilson at Morgan State. Again, those are all coaches, and they're not playing on the field. However, I do think that for sure right now, I have Norfolk State definitely having. I'll go out on a limb to say this: that they could have a winning season next year. I just don't think that they will win the MEAC or compete for a Celebration Bowl next year.
Well, I said what I said. We had a tape, so you know we can always come back to this. Okay.
We do.
So, yeah. Behold, Coach Michael Vick, next man in charge at Norfolk State University. I did want to ask you one thing. You said that they were looking at Vick since September. They had a coach already.
Yeah. So, how many times have we heard rumblings and things like that when coaches were still in place? All the time. It wasn't public, but I can guarantee you through multiple chats, people that I've talked to, if you ask the right people, this has been silently being discussed for a while. This didn't just pop up on the scene. I can guarantee you that. This didn't just pop up a couple weeks ago once the season ended after Thanksgiving that, oh, well, we think Michael Vick is going to be the coach at Norfolk State. This has definitely been going on for some time.
All right. Well, if Wilton said it, it must be true. But behold, the next football coach at Norfolk State University, it is big number 7, not the little one, Coach Michael Vick. Thank you guys for tuning in to another HBCU football Friday night, even though it ain't Friday night. But somebody might be watching this show on Friday night, so it's Friday night for somebody. I am Symona Stanley. He is Wilton Jackson. Thanks for rocking with us. Until next time.